Our first shot is the Paranormal Pictures. This is an institution that we made up ourselves. In the background we have white noise. We chose this to show disorientation. There's also cracks in the screen, maybe, to show that there's something wrong. We also chose Paranormal Pictures because it has a double P and alliteration. This shot is a panning medium shot of the man running into the tunnel. In this shot we've put a filter onto it and it's cool tones. This has made it black and white. But we've also been able to pick out some colours, and one of the colours we decided was green. We could use this to represent life. Also in this shot we have some barbed wire, which could represent trapped, as in the man is being trapped by whatever is chasing him. The man is wearing quite dark clothing, with just a light coloured hoodie. Usually in horror films, light is vulnerable, but in our horror film we changed the conventions, and he is vulnerable even though he's not wearing very light colours. Our next shot is a long shot through a tunnel. It's very dark lighting, with the only light source being the end of the tunnel. Most people can represent death as being don't walk into the light, whereas in here you literally cannot walk into the light, because if you do you will die, as we have the figure of the mysterious thing there. We haven't shown what it is or who it is yet, so this gives the audience a feeling of tense and suspicion of what is it. The next shot is a medium panning through bushes, as in a point of view shot. We chose the woods as a good location, as there are many trees and barriers that can represent, again, being trapped. We also put a filter on this shot, the cool tones again, to show through the green, to show life. We chose this shot because it's as if the audience are with the girl and we're watching the boy run through the woods, waiting for him to be her prey. This is an over-the-shoulder shot. For this shot we used the rule of thirds, with the boy in the front right corner and the girl in the back left corner. We decided to use this so that the girl is of less focus of the boy, but you can also see her. We also put a cool tones filter onto this shot, making the green stand out as life, and as well the red on the girl to represent death and blood. We decided to have this shot as the girl behind the boy, so that it's as if the audience know that she's there, but the boy doesn't, so he doesn't know the danger. Whereas the girl is slowly creeping up onto his prey. This part of the woods was very clear, so it would show barriers around them, but not through them, as if the girl was getting closer and closer to her prey and is ready to attack. This is a close-up of the girl's face. We decided to use this shot as throughout the opening we have been building up the tension and then dropping it. So we thought we'd build up the tension and really scare the audience. We used the filter on this again, of cool tones, and with the red being picked out representing blood, so that mainly all of the girl is quite red. We thought that this would really hook the audience, as it ends with a scream and we only see the girl's face, but we don't know what's happened to the boy. We also use this because before it is a point of view shot of the boy, so you really build up the tension as you're looking around, and then suddenly you turn back to where you were and the girl's face is right there. This is the title of our film, Seeking Possession. We have this fading in and fading out from the middle. It's white on the inside, but on the edge there is a little bit of red to show the subtlety, and this could represent the girl because she's wearing a white dress, but she's also got blood on her mouth and ripped in her dress. So we tried to make this represent the girl in the film. After the title we have an equilibrium shot. This shot is a high-angled canted of someone putting something through a letterbox. The lighting in this shot is very warm. We also have quite warm location with the warm orangey bricks and the door handle and letterbox that is quite a yellowy colour. We also have the reflection of the letterbox up on the door, making that also seem yellowy and warm. Because we chose a home environment, the audience can connect to the story a bit more, because they think that homes are safe, whereas we can show them as not being. The next shot is a high angled over the shoulder shot. The lighting in this is also quite warm, giving a homely feeling. The location is quite white, so it's also showing the vulnerability of the man in his own home. We can also see the letter that the man is holding. It's quite scrumpled up, and the writing is very scratchy, as if someone has quickly written it down. So this could lead connections to the girl, making the audience want to see who wrote it and why they wrote it, to make them carry on watching the film. We chose our main location based on the film The Blair Witch Project. We found that as that was based in the woods, it was quite scary and it had many barriers. And so we thought we could use this to help us show our film and use many barriers to show the trap of the man. We also thought that the lighting in the woods can be very dark, like in this picture of from the Blair Witch Project. And so with the editing and at the right timing, we could get the right lighting to make it look as if it was dark and make it feel very tense and scary for the audience. Our location of the tunnel is similar to the location in the film called The Tunnel. We decided to use this as it can be long and scary, and we made it very dark just so you could just see the outline of something. The tunnels are the same, they've both got an arching, whereas the one in the film The Tunnel is much longer than the one that we used. Our last location of the house is also similar to the setting in the beginning of The Ring. We have the long corridors and the white walls in both of the scenes, showing vulnerability. Whereas in our one, we thought we'd have much warmer lighting as it's the equilibrium and we're showing hope and nice and warm love and a house of his life. Whereas in The Ring, it's quite cold as it's just getting into the story of The Ring. The main boy in our horror film is very similar to the main boy in The Devil's Backbone. As you can see, they have the same kind of hairstyle and the same kind of look and facial expression. They also are both of the teenage age years, and so this is quite an unusual age to be the victim of a horror film, as it's usually teenage girls who are the victims, whereas we decided to change the conventions of horror films, and obviously so did The Devil's Backbone, and have a teenage boy instead. Our main girl in our film is very similar to the girl in The Ring. As you can see with these close-ups, both of them have got quite a lot of makeup on to make them look scary. Like the girl in The Ring's got quite scary, dark makeup, and our girl has blood all around her mouth, and you can't really see it in that photo, but she has dark under her eyes and a very pale face. They're also of around about the same age, about teenage years, and they are both wearing white dresses. This changes the conventions, as usually white represents vulnerability, whereas here it doesn't, it represents death. And usually the girls are the victim, but this time we try to change the conventions again and have them as the attacker and the boy as the victim.